Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back to the Last Breath submod for Dawnless Days Total War. It's had another update, and oh boy, has it had a absolute titan for the Dawnless Days community. It is Dol Amroth, so yes, a principality of Gondor, but a super strong faction. Has been around in previous submods. It's been in sort of like Fives of Gondor, and also in the Lost Factions submod as well. But we are here now with in Last Breath, which is where it really should be, in a very nicely balanced and well-rounded submod. And it is a very, very cool faction. There is another faction as well that I'm going to show off in the next few days that is also being added. This is early access, so before you ask, where can I get Dol Amroth? Why can't I get Dol Amroth? It is because it is not yet out for you guys to have a look at. I have it early access. Very kindly by the devs of Last Breath, they sent it to me. So yes, we are going to check out some of these units and have a look at them because, oh boy, are they good. They got a lot of them have very unique sort of like assets. So it's why the team have taken quite a while to build these two new factions, because they've got all new assets. So they're going to look very unique and not very similar at all to the main mod sort of like assets that you do see in the main Dawnless Days, which is great. There are some obviously overlaps with Gondor, a few units that you're like, hey, I've seen those before. Where have I seen those before? It's probably because Gondor has them, because at the end of the day, Dol Amroth are a principality. But yes, we're going to quickly go over some of these units. So yeah, firstly we have the Prince's Marksman here. They are the only bow unit that Dol Amroth has available to them. I mean, if you're unaware of like Dol Amroth, they're kind of like known for their sort of like cavalry, and also I guess possibly because of their seafaring skills. I guess probably because they do like to say that they like put a big old anchor and like seagulls on them on their chest, so they clearly have some sort of seafaring expertise as well. But yeah, these are the only bow units they have available, so you're going to be a bit limited when it comes to range units, that is for sure. Over here we have the Amrothian Deckman, as I said, seafaring skills. A lot of these names are going to have something to do with the sea. That is for sure. But yes, these are a Javi unit. They look very similar sort of to the marksman, but instead of holding a big old javelin. So I mean, very useful obviously for fighting against Olokai and things like that, which I'm sure Dol Amroth will have to do plenty of. But yeah, this is certainly going to be a fun unit to use. That's for sure. After that, we have the swords, which are all the way over here. We have Pelargir Marines, which are obviously a bit of an overlap from the Gondor roster. I imagine that the difference is, I can't remember if Gondor has them limited, but I imagine Dol Amroth has an uncapped amount of Marines that they can bring. But it's still good to see them on the roster as well. Another unit that can throw javelins as well. Something to keep in mind here. Here we have the Footman, Prince's Footman. So they're a heavy infantry unit. They're more like your trained unit. You're more likely to see a lot of these guys. You're going to probably spamming them out quite a bit. Yeah, they look really cool. I like the look of these guys with the shoulder blades. I mean, the helmets as well, you got to look at them. I mean, they look a little bit Gondorian with their own like sort of feathers on the side. They look really, really cool. I do love that helmet. It looks great. It really, really does. But yes, this is the Prince's Footman. So another cool unit. The unit we were looking at initially, which is in the very bright blue over here, with the very, very cool helms going on, are the Foot Knights of Dol Amroth. So these are, like, I guess, instead of being on horse like the Swan Knights, these guys decide to be on foot. And this guy's really excited to get into action. He really is. There he is. But yeah, they got like a mismatch of like chest plate armor, and then some like have sort of like, I imagine chest plate armor, but just with like this blue top over the top, which is cool. I do like that. And again, same, like there's a bit of a mix of sort of like uniform, like the swans that they have, which is as well cool. I like that it breaks up sort of the uniformity a little bit. It really is cool. The officer as well looks very, very cool. I think he's just the same officer from the from like the Swan Knight unit, but he looks really cool as well. I don't know why he's giving me sort of like Mel Gibson vibes. I don't know why, but he is. But anyway, after the swords, we do have. I've kind of put them all together. We've got shock infantry. There is only one shock available for Dol Amroth, and it looks very cool. It's a very unique helmet. You're not going to miss these guys when you go into battle. But yeah, look at them. They look awesome, and they've got a big old axe there. Looks great, glorious. These are the champions of Dor En Enil. So it's a very cool unit there, and they are pretty damn nasty. I mean, they are a trained unit. They look like they could be elites, but they are just trained, and they do look awesome. That's for sure. But yes, they've got like a mismatch of double-handed swords and axes and stuff like that. They look awesome. Some of them like got like a mouth guard on or something, like just got something over their mouth. I guess, I don't know. Maybe they got the plague, those guys. But yeah, very, very cool. We then have the spears. This is the only spear available for Dol Amroth, which is a surprise to see just a one spear unit. It's a trained unit. It's Amrothian Watchman. All these names I'm going to have to learn, which is another joy. Yeah, Amrothian Watchmen here. They are... they don't look anything too exciting. They just look like, you know, Watchmen, really. They just got some chainmail. They got some, like a padded jerkin over the top. Spear, shield. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't have more, maybe, but... like more spears, just because spears generally usually like the most numerous, I feel like, of unit, but they don't, that's for sure. One thing I would possibly like to see is like a levy tier unit of like swords, or levy tier unit of spears, or a Dol Amroth. Maybe more units will be added, I don't know, for it, but yeah, I'd like to see that, I think, just to sort of bulk up the roster a little bit more. We then have the Prince's Coast Guards here. We've seen these guys before with Gondor, but they are a Dol Amroth unit at heart. So whether they'll be capped, I don't know, because I don't think they're. I don't even think they're capped for Gondor. I don't. But then again, I don't see anyone really spamming out Prince's Coast Guard, because they're okay, but they're nothing too insane to talk about. But they do look glorious, that's for sure. And it's good to see that they're like, you see, this kind of harks back to the main mod, and sort of like units that cross over factions, which is cool. But yeah, the next unit is by far and away one of my coolest. I mean, it reminds me of sort of like Macedonian like phalangites. It really does. With like where the shield is, it looks amazing. This is the Tirith Air Sentinels. What a cool unit, and it's in bright white as well. I mean, when a faction's all in blue, and you see these guys then in like full like white uniform, looks amazing. The shield on the side, oh, it looks great. It really does. Yeah, this is probably my favorite unit, I think, of Dol Amroth I've seen so far. It's one of the most unique, and it just looks really, really cool. It's an elite tier unit as well, very heavy pike unit, elite. So I expect these guys to be holding last choke points at Dol Amroth for a long, long time. That is for sure. But then now we have the main bread and butter, which is the cavalry. So yes, we have quite a lot of cavalry here for Dol Amroth. We have the Amrothian Squires here, which are a levy tier unit. They're a melee cav unit. I believe in Lost Factions they're a shock cav unit or a spear cav unit. But yeah, in Last Breath they've decided to make them a melee cav, which is possibly for the best, I think, because I think a lot of people were cheesing with the Amrothian Squires. And it was quite a like just a spammable unit that you could get a lot of kills with. So they made it a melee cav, so it's a little bit tougher to get kills. But I wonder whether, with it being a levy melee cav, whether anyone will actually bring it. I would be interested to see, that is for sure. Then next we have the Knights of Edelond. Another melee cav unit, but this is like your top tier melee cav. This is going to be a unit, look at it, I mean, it looks amazing with the swan on the head, on the helm there. Looks amazing, but yeah, and they've got like awesome shields as well. I love that some of them have like got just like a plain iron shield here. Looks awesome. And so they've got a bit more, adding a little bit more color to their shield. Again, kind of breaks it up. But yeah, so these guys look amazing. They're going to be a great counter to Servants of the Eye, which, I mean, or just any sort of like heavy melee cav like that. But yeah, Servants of the Eye, who you imagine they're going to be coming up against a lot. It's a real good, like, counter to them. That is for sure, that the Forces of Good really need. Good melee cav versus melee cav. And then this is the Prince's Sergeants. Again, this is another unit that Gondor has, but it is a Dol Amroth unit at the end of the day. And it's cool. I do really like the look of it. It'd be great to see a bit more of it in action under Dol Amroth potentially, which would be good. I think it's technically down as a spear cav. Yeah, I think this is the only spear cav as well available for Dol Amroth. So we might see these guys being used a lot more, but spear cav also I feel like just doesn't get used very often. It just kind of gets replaced by shock cav. Here is the first of the shock cav. So we have Patrollers of Belfast here, and Levy medium shock cav. They look okay. Like I said, they are probably going to... I think they're going to replace the Amrothian Squires as your spammable shock cav. They bring like a lot of it and just trying to cause as much damage as possible before this unit dies. A medium shock as well, like it's going to take a bit of damage before it does eventually die. But yeah, we've got padded jerkin, some plain mail armor. It kind of just remind me of medieval sergeants from like 1212 or something like that. The officer looks really cool as well, actually, and he's actually repping the white tree of Gondor instead of the white swan. What heresy. And then we've got the boys we all know and love, we have the Swan Knights, which is a unit, again, that Gondor does have, but yeah, you can see that they... I imagine they're not capped. I think Gondor's got them capped at 3, but I imagine Dol Amroth does not have these guys capped. And you can bring as many of them as you like, but they do look amazing. One of the best looking cav units in the game by far. Their armor and the helm, second to none. Such a good unit to sort of like revamp, that is for sure. And then it's technically not a new unit, but we do have a new unique general as well. And we have Prince Imrahil here of Dol Amroth himself, the guy that was present at the siege of Minas Tirith and aided Gondor in the defense of the city. His like golden swan helm makes him stand out very easily there. But yes, he's under a Swan Knight or Silver Knight of the Silver Swan bodyguard as well. So I don't think he's got any different stats. He might just have some more abilities, maybe a bit more morale. But that will be about it, I imagine. But yeah, they are all of the units. The only thing I didn't show is that Dol Amroth does have a trebuchet, which it can bring as well. So they can bring a trebuchet if they want to, instead of a catapult. So again, very similar to Gondor. So I imagine a lot of people will playing Dol Amroth for that reason on sieges, but also just because they're a cool faction, that is for sure. But there you go, guys. That is a little bit of a snippet into what is coming in the next Last Breath update. Dol Amroth is back. Definitely check out in the next few days. I have another faction that I'm going to be showing off. And it's a very cool one, a very unique one as well. So yes, make sure you stay tuned for that one. But yes, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment if you haven't already. And make sure you check out any other Dawnless Days content, as there's plenty more to come. So hit that notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on the next faction that is to be revealed. Until then, bye for now.